Hello there, hi, it's Adil, bringing you a review of the FTSE 100 from an intermarket analysis perspective. Okay, so basically back from Cyprus, back to normal hopefully now, and I'll try my best to do daily videos, provided obviously the markets are calm and I'm not too busy analysing etc and reading. So, okay, so basically last week I expected the markets to fold and obviously reverse to the downside. That obviously didn't occur, okay. Due to numerous reasons. Obviously, one shortened week, and one generally indicates, even though we had generally does favour lighter volume, and obviously the markets stay afloat. Obviously, that's one reason. Two, obviously, the markets ignored the geopolitical concerns from Russia, Ukraine, which again was quite surprising, even with a Russian downgrade. Yet the market still ignored. Now, one of the reasons why the FTSE 100 was strong was because of the pharmaceutical sector that kept it afloat. Okay, and also given the fact that you got earnings from Chevron and Exxon this week, that could have been a factor as well. Also, given the fact that even though sterling was afloat, still quite. I mean, if you look at sterling itself, that should have dented the FTSE's ability to move higher. Again, that failed to do so. So. A lot of reasons, okay, a lot of reasons. The reason why the market stayed afloat. And obviously, given the fact that you had a Chinese rate cut with regards to the agricultural sector, that certainly helped to a certain degree. You had stronger European data, so that obviously helped to a certain degree. But one of the main reasons why I wanted to go short on the FTSE was obviously a higher, stronger sterling, and obviously given the fact that we've got the geopolitical concerns still obviously on the surface. So again, market's resilient, strong, even though the FTSE itself has diverged from the Nasdaq, for example. Nasdaq was down quite heavily, the Dow was quite heavily, the DAX has been down, so the FTSE itself has been quite strong. I mean, the DAX itself, quite substantial drop there into the 9400 support level, and yet the FTSE itself has been quite resilient. If you compare that chart to the FTSE 250 chart, I mean, the FTSE 250 chart certainly has come off, yet the FTSE 100 is resilient. So respect must be given where it's due when a market is strong. And what does that indicate? That indicates upside. When you have negative, when you have a negative environment or a bearish environment, yet the index remains afloat, that signifies inherent strength. Therefore, expect it to move higher. Okay, so that's basically what we're expecting. Now let's have a look at the FTSE itself. Then let's go back to the FTSE 100 chart. Let's have a look at the technical reasons now. Obviously, geopolitics will be the key. Okay. So if that does escalate, any concerns there, expect the markets to, or the FTSE itself to sell off. Given the fact that the European markets were down and Asian markets were down, and even the Chinese market was down on the Friday, and yet the FTSE 100 remained afloat. So respect must be given to strength when it's there. Okay, so bottoming tail there on a Friday, and obviously the market rallied. I obviously had shorts with subscribers. We went as low as 6660. I was short the 80-90 region, and I could have closed, but I left it open expecting a move lower, but yet again we failed given the fact that we've held that resistance level there. Okay, right, so last week, given the fact that I was in Cyprus, I couldn't really focus on the markets 100% like I do as a day trader, and I ended up with plus 20 points for the week. Okay, so even though I was stopped out with one FTSE for minus 70, minus 80, that was the biggest loss for the week, still ended up with plus 20 for the week, which really more or less is break even, still positive result for the week. Okay. The week before obviously 400 plus, so that certainly held me in good stead. So let's see what this week brings. Okay, so daily chart on the FTSE 100. Obviously we know horizontal resistance where previous support equals resistance at 6710. So watch out for 6710, and also you've got these previous wicks here, 6730, 6710, and then obviously you've got this horizontal resistance in this region here. Again, previous support equals resistance, which is going to be around the 6770 level. So 6770, 6730, 6710 on the upside. Obviously, given the fact that this market looks as if it's trading sideways, the HNS has failed. This is the reason why I was bearish on the FTSE going into last week. Obviously, I expected this right shoulder here and then obviously fold, and the market has failed to obviously hold the 75% fib. So if you take it from the pivot low, pivot high to the pivot low, we obviously have gone past the 6560, and that's one of the reasons why 6560 acted as support. That's one reason why 6560 acted as support, because it was 75%. Can you see how the market bottom there and obviously reversed? Therefore, a failed pattern equals an emotive move in the opposite direction. Everybody wants a short cover and expecting a new high. So expect a new high up here. 6850 certainly isn't out of the out of the question going into next week. So we'll see. Given the fact that Nasdaq is into support now, and my subscribers know that I'm long the Nasdaq from Friday in the 30 region. So certainly looking for a move higher on the Nasdaq going into next week. So given with regards to Nasdaq is into support, etc., then we do expect a move higher. So 6770, even 6850 is certainly a target for next week. Okay, based on this daily chart. Let's have a look at the FTSE 250. FTSE 250 now, still lower lows, lower highs, looking to have based. Obviously, everybody will be talking about this H&S pattern here. There's your left shoulder, that's your head. Now, obviously, you're creating a right shoulder. Then, obviously, before we move lower, everybody will be talking about that. Okay, that's something that we certainly can discuss and contemplate on. But for now, my bias is towards the upside. Okay, my bias is towards the upside, and that's basically what I'll be focusing on. Okay. The reason why is I do see a potential here for an inverted head and shoulders formation. Okay, so that's something that I'm going to keep an eye on, provided Nasdaq can obviously make its move, given the fact that Apple's on the buyback and looking for a move higher then into the 1400 level. So again, that's my bias. I'm looking for a move higher. Okay, let's have a look at the daily chart. FTSE 350 again trading sideways. Okay, just trading sideways again. The upper level high up here is certainly not the equation. Trading sideways. Okay, so go back to the FTSE. Let's go to a smaller time frame, see if we can see any sort of particular patterns there. A smaller time frame. Obviously, we need to be aware of this H&S formation, given the fact that it hasn't played out. Again, is my concern. So there's your head, and this is one of the reasons why I was bearish, and obviously didn't play out. Etc. We got to the neckline, we broke the neckline. What happened? We bounced. So we'll see. Okay, even if this H&S does play out, given the fact that there's escalations in Ukraine, Russia, then 6660 to 6720, you've got a 60-point move. 6600 is your 200 MA. So that's basically your target on the downside. So we'll see. Okay, time shall tell. We did have a thrust higher into the close, so which is a bullish sign. Again, like I said, there is a H&S formation. We will see. Okay, we shall see. We'll see what Asia brings. If Asian markets are higher overnight, my concern is that the China was down and the US markets were down, and yet the FTSE still failed to sell off. That signifies inherent strength. So I have to respect that for now. Okay. So I think I'll call it a day there, folks, with regards to the FTSE. As you know, my bias is bullish going into next week. Why? Because the Nasdaq's in support. Therefore, I expect all global markets to rise. Again, that is always subject to change. I'm a day trader. I have to react to what the market gives me. Given the market at present, I am definitely bullish, provided there's no shifts in socioeconomics or geopolitics. And obviously, the bullish bias will remain going into Monday and into next week. Obviously, if situation changes drastically, etc., then obviously I'll change bias accordingly. Okay, so I wish everybody a good trading week, and hopefully back to normal now for Monday on the live analysis service. So risk on, risk off, wax on, wax off. Goodbye now.